Hello everyone, it's Graham from Lakeside, and this morning I want to just go through a few things with you as regards what I've seen and heard on YouTube. And because I'm not modelling very much at the moment because of this stupid eye, then I've been looking at a few videos which have come up on the main feed, and they're not particularly videos which I would normally watch, but because I've got nothing much better to do at the moment, then I've watched them, and a lot of them are to do with, has the model railway hobby declined over the last few years? And with the closing of Hatton's, has really brought things up to the surface again, and there seems to be a general sense of decline within the hobby. I totally disagree with that. I don't think there is a decline in the hobby. I think it's thriving. When I went to Getz latter part of last year, everybody who went said it was just heaving, and it was shoulder to shoulder everywhere you went. Now, if that is a state of decline, then I'd hate to think what it would be like when the hobby is bubbling, because you just wouldn't have got in the bloody door. It was difficult enough as it was. So, I don't know. I just think that when the news broke that Hatton's was closing down, everybody was going, "Oh Christ, that's it, that's the end, end of the hobby." No, the hobby is changing, definitely, and it has changed progressively over the years, and it's changed in various ways. The way we shop has changed, whereas 20 odd years ago you'd go to your model shop and you would buy either something which you knew they had and you wanted, or you would browse and go, "Oh, I like the look of that," and you bought it. These days it's primarily online, and I have to say right now that this is all just my opinion. It's not factual. It's just purely what I'm gleaming from what's around me, and most of the videos which I've watched are the same. They are opinions, based on facts obviously, but they're still opinions. And like this video, this is my opinion, and I get a little bit perturbed, I guess, about people going, "Oh, doom and gloom, we're not going to have a model railway hobby. There's no youngsters coming up." Well, there never has been youngsters coming up. When I look back, right the way back to when I was a teenager, I wasn't interested in model railways. Yes, I was when I was a wee lad of about 10, 11 years old. Yeah, I was interested. But then as soon as I started becoming a teenager, all that went out the window, and I was more interested in girls, going out, drinking, smoking, all that sort of thing you do as a teenager. Your body changes horrendously at that kind of age, and you're going through so many emotional things that your life is evolving very quickly as a teenager, and you don't want to be in a room full of people discussing model railways. It's boring, and it's something which you tend to forget about, ignore, and your old train set as a kid collects dust and is sold probably, and then when you become 30ish, that sort of age group, and you're married and you've got kids growing up, you then start getting back into the hobby by buying little train sets for your own children. Excuse me. And then quite often than not, the little train sets you've built then become your model railway. And I've seen it time and time again where people build train sets for their kids or grandkids, and their grandkids or children grow up and they're left with a train set. And they then start expanding that for their own use. And so as you get older, you gradually get back into model railways. So people who keep harping on about, oh, we must get youngsters back into the model railway hobby, you won't. You know, it's just a fact of life. And there is also has to be taken into account the way kids these days interact. If you walk along the high street on a Saturday, what's the most common thing you see? Especially with girls. They've got their mobile phones in front of them. They're not talking, they're not listening, or they've got their mobile phone in the hope that they get a message from one of their mates. And everywhere you look, these kids are walking around with mobiles in their hands. So that's kind of saying that the way people communicate, or the way kids communicate, is pretty much by tablets, or more likely mobile phones, where they're on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. That's how they're communicating. And so going to a model shop is really off the radar for them. They're absolutely no interest in that whatsoever, because of their age group and what they're interested in. So for the likes of me, the older generation, the much older generation, we are using our time to do things like model railways, because we find it enjoyable. It's therapeutic. It's something as a collector, whereby you can collect locos, rolling stock, whatever, and build a train set or a model railway. We don't normally, like we used to, go into model shops and buy the stuff. We tend to buy online, generally speaking. Now, when I go to a model shop, my local model shop, which is Trains for You in Peterborough, they have a massive collection of railway stuff for sale, because they're a model shop, a railway model shop. So it's their business to do that. So in front of me is a huge display of locomotives I could buy. Now, personally speaking, and I have to do it from a personal point of view, because that's what I know, isn't it? I don't know what you feel like or how you shop, but I can guess that the majority of the time these days it's that you see something either in a model shop or you see something online, and it captures your imagination. You think, "Oh, that's really nice. I'd like to get that if I can." And so you start looking around for the cheapest prices. So therefore, you've got things like eBay. You've got what used to be Hatton's, Rails of Sheffield, and all the other model shops, all competing against each other. And you look around for a decent price, and if you still want it, you buy it. Now, whether you buy it from the modern shop, which I try to do if I can, that's assuming that they've got it in stock and that it's a decent price, or you buy it online. Now, for me personally, again, it's got to be personally, if every single model shop closed, I've got enough stock to last me. I don't really need anything. There are things I would like, but I don't really need anything to carry on with the hobby. I can survive quite happily with what I've got, apart from general building things like scenic stuff and bits and pieces like that. And when I buy a locomotive, it's normally because it's not what I need, it's what I would like. So if I see a new release coming up, say from Accurascale, if I like the look of it, then I will ponder it, have a look, think, do I really need that? Can I afford it? Very importantly these days, can I afford it? I'm a pensioner, so I'm only on a pension, like my wife. I haven't got the huge income that I used to have when I was employed. So it's a bit limiting now as regards, I can't just go out and buy something and not think of where the money's come from. I have to rethink that now these days, because there's other things to do. Like we've got to get our house rethatched this week coming, which is going to be costing about £28,000. So, you know, I have to, or we have to look at finances just as much as anybody else. And to go and buy a £200-300 loco, I have to have a double think. And the way I do it now is, for instance, with Accurascale, they offer a 4 payment system whereby you get the price of say £250 for a loco, and you divide that by 4 and you pay that on a monthly basis for 4 months. And that's the way I tend to buy my stock at the moment. And it's something which is not that I need, it's something which I've seen and I like the look of, and I think, yeah, I would like that running on my layout. Now I'm fortunate in the fact that because I'm not era orientated, I'm not regional orientated, I just run what I like because I like it. I like the shape, I like the colour, I like the look of it, etc, etc. I look at the features, has it got the features I want, that sort of thing. Other folk are very much the opposite. They will look at a loco, is it in their region, is it in their era, has it got sound fitted, is it just DC, is it DCC, can it be DCC fitted, all that sort of thing. So there's lots of things to consider. Now, when you're setting up for a child, so 10, 11 years or younger, they're not going to worry about whether it's got fine detail on it. In fact, if it has got fine detail, it's probably not the kind of loco you want to buy them, because it's easily broken. Even for me, I can take out a loco in a box and I can break something easily. With my hand-fisted fingers, I can break something quite easily, no problems. So you have to be careful. So that takes me on to the next bit really, which is, well, why don't manufacturers make cheap locos so that, you know, they could be handled easily by children? Well, they do. And the main company doing that really are Hornby. Now, how many times have we heard over the years, oh, Hornby's going to go down the tubes, they made £6 million loss and blah blah blah, they're not going to last long. and they're still here. They're still here. And with Simon Kohler going, oh, well, that's the end of Hornby, and other people have said, oh, great, got rid of him, that's going to make Hornby even better. So what happens is that Hornby do a release of what they're going to be putting through the system for this year. And then people moan at that because they put on what we consider as chronic looking locos like the Beatles and Set and other little 040s which are cheap looking, but that's great, you know, okay, not for the likes of me and perhaps you. You wouldn't see it dead on our layouts, but it does help parents and grandparents to buy something for their grandkids or children to start off. It might be gross to look at to us, but for a child it will suffice. They see nothing wrong with a steam engine on their layout displaying the Beatles on it. They probably don't even know who the Beatles are. It doesn't matter. The fact is that you can pick these little locos up for like 40, 50 quid, which is not too much of an expense. It is for some, and they would have to think about it, and it's probably a birthday or a Christmas gift, but at least that is available. So I'm a little bit, I'm trying to think of the word, I'm not upset, I'm just a little bit fed up with these people going, oh, this is all wrong, you know, it's not creating the interest for the children, and why should we be buying this sort of crap from the likes of Hornby? It's to get kids started. You know, they will, once they turn 15, 14, they will go, not interested, forget it, put it to one side, and off they go and do their own teenage stuff. Until we go back to square one again, where I came in and they've got their own children, and the whole cycle starts again. So, to cut a long story short, I guess, I really don't believe our hobby is in decline. It is changing. It's changing in various ways, and all the time we keep up to speed with the way it's changing, then this hobby of ours will survive. There are still going to be exhibitions. Okay, Whalley has decided that it's not going to be an exhibition anymore, for the reasons apparently that the volunteers who run it are aging and they can't seem to get the younger people to come in to help and contribute to the running of the exhibitions. But that doesn't mean to say that because Whalley is closed down that the hobby itself is diminishing, because it isn't. There are many other local shows going around where you can go along and you will see the same traders, you will see the same traders selling the same things, and you will see the layouts which you've seen before, and so the interest is still there. It's just a case of rethinking a different way of our hobby. So it's looking at the ways you buy things, looking at the way you go to the exhibitions, changing perhaps the way you go to exhibitions rather than going to the big shows. Look at the more localised shows. That doesn't mean to say that the hobby is declining. I haven't heard anybody yet on YouTube or anybody else saying, right, that's it, I'm packing up my model railway, I've had it, It's in decline. I can't get this. I can't get that. Never heard of that. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say they're packing up because of those reasons. They may pack up because of other reasons like health. They can't manage to do it anymore, and that sort of thing. But they're not doing it because they can't get the products, because the model rail industry is in decline. Prices are a big factor. People are now becoming much more choosy in maybe not buying something because of the price. And I can understand that, because the prices have gone up dramatically, as we all know. But then so has everything else. Food has gone up dramatically, fuel has gone up, prices of cars have gone up, houses have gone up, all sorts of things. And then you have to think about other things like scale. So with Hornby introducing the TT120 range, that means that apparently our houses are getting smaller, allegedly, and so we haven't got the room for model railways. But the TT120 range is small, so that can be fitted into a smaller room. Hence the reason, I think, probably why Hornby thought it was a good idea to introduce the 120 range. So I'm waffling, but I hope that I'm trying to get across to you my feelings as regards the apparent upsurge in videos saying the hobby is in decline. I really don't think it is. It's what we make it, you know, and how we adapt to it. And we adapt to life changes all the time. It's not just model railways, it's about everything. And model railways are just one part of that, where we have to adapt to change. And it's not major changes, it's gradual. And I've managed to change from when I first started out back into the hobby, which is, I don't know, 13 years ago, something like that. When I started looking at coming back into the hobby again, not that I really ever got into it, to be honest, but I'm saying that because I did have a train set when I was a lad, and then after that, nothing. I found other hobbies. But I wanted this hobby as a retirement project, which is what I've done. I really opened up the model railway that I have after or just prior to me retiring. And it's really done me well, I have to say. I get so much enjoyment from this model railway, from all aspects, but primarily the modelling side of it, and the interactivity of going to shows, and YouTube, of course, where I'm doing this now, and getting interactivity from folk who have subscribed, or not even subscribed, they just find the channel and comment on a particular video. And I find that great, because then when we do go to exhibitions, we meet up and we have a chat, and it kind of brings that reality to the forefront of, oh yeah, I mean, I know you've commented on my videos quite a few times. It's good to put a name to a face now, thank you. So I do like that interaction. I'm sorry about the noise you can hear, by the way. That is the washing machine on. Sunday morning, so the washing machine's on. So really, this is just all about don't give up, you know. This is not the end of the hobby by any means, and it's going to carry on. There are so many new manufacturers out there, Accurascale being one of them, who are a fantastic team, who are producing just absolutely beautiful locos. Okay, they've had their issues in the past with a few of them, but every company does. Doesn't matter what company. If you bring a item for sale and it goes on sale, if there's a fault, people are going to find it. But Curioscale are very good at helping to try and rectify those issues. And it's not just a Curioscale, it could be Bachmann, it could be Hornby, it could be any of them. Rapido, another one. So I wouldn't give up hope yet, folks. You know, I wouldn't listen to too much of this downgrading of our hobby, if you want to put it downgrading. It's a bit like doom and gloom. No, it's not. Far from it. I really don't see our hobby going down the tubes. I really don't. Hattons, they weren't insolvent. They just decided that it was time to call it a day. Big shock to everybody. Absolutely it was, to me included. I had no idea that they were going to do that. But having said that, I hardly ever bought from Hattons, to be honest. I did now and again, but they weren't my go-to shop. I tend to buy all my stuff from Rails of Sheffield and any other company who I can find a decent price for a decent loco or piece of rolling stock or accessory. I will buy from them. Hattons were the place to go really because they had such an extensive range of stock that you could get or glean prices, availability and that sort of thing. And if that didn't suit you, you could then go online, hence the reason I'm saying it's changed the hobby, the way you shop. You could go online, do a search in Google and see what comes up there. For me, I'm tending to use eBay now, which I never used to, but I do tend to use eBay a fair bit now in comparison to what I used to do, because you can get some reasonably good deals on there if you are patient, if you are lucky to find one at the right time, at the right place. So there's a few options out there. So again, you know, you don't need to get disheartened and put down by these bloody YouTube videos coming out. Oh, it's shit, it's crazy, where's it going to go? It's not going to be around for any longer. Yeah, that's bollocks. Excuse my French, but it is. There's too much investment in the modern shops and the other shops which are online for it to go down. And let's assume the worst. Let's assume that every modern shop and every retailer went down the tubes or closed up. It wouldn't worry me, to be honest. I've still got my model railway up in the barn. I've still got everything there to satisfy my needs, like the majority of us have, where we could go up there, run some trains for a couple of hours and be quite happy with that. But it's not like that, is it? There's still a lot of choice out there. Just because Hattons are closed down, yeah, it's sad, but it's not the end of the world by any means. Certainly not. Okay, so I think I've made my point. I just want to say that don't give up. You know, if you see these YouTube videos coming out going it's doom and gloom, what's the point? Where's the hope? There's every point in it and there's loads of hope. Things change, new shops will open, you never know, Hattons might get a second chance as regards a name. Don't know, anything could happen. But I'm sure as eggs are eggs, this is not the end of our hobby. And don't let anybody say otherwise. It's really not. I can see this hobby changing, definitely, but it's not going to fade away. There's too many people involved in this industry for it just to belly up and go under. Okay, that's my thought of the day, if you like. Okay, I'm sorry if I look a bit shit today. My eye is horrible, but come tomorrow, that's only 2 weeks now, I think, to my operation, so not long to wait. 2-3 weeks, something like that, where hopefully I will start feeling a lot better and I can get back into my modelling mode again and get cracking on that bloody canal and get that finished off. I am so looking forward to getting that finished, I really am. It's just a shame that I can't, for obvious reasons, but I thought I'd do this video anyway because I haven't done a little video for a while, and I wanted to put my voice over on this particular subject. So whatever you're doing today, have a nice day, have a nice week. Just be careful of the storm coming through tonight. Stay safe, and hopefully I'll catch you on another video shortly where I'll have the 9F running around the layout, which it's working absolutely like a dream now, so I'm really pleased about that. So it needs a decent run. Okay, so bye for now, and please don't take notice of these YouTube videos you're watching where it seems like doom and gloom. It's not. Believe me, it's not. You've only got to sit down and think about this rationally. Okay. Bye for now, folks, and speak to you again soon. Bye. I forgot something. I wanted to also suggest an idea as regards the younger generation of trying to get them involved a bit more into the hobby, and if it can be done. And what I said earlier on was that the main interest of the way the youngsters communicate is with their mobiles or tablets, and that seems to be the interesting part for them, is the techie part, the communication with the iPhone or phones, and it got me thinking that if we could introduce something whereby they could use their phones or tablets along with a modern railway, then that may introduce a few more, because they'll be using their mobiles to interact with a modern railway. Now, quite a few of us do that already. I certainly do. With my Z21 controller, I use my iPad or phone. Now, I was watching a video the other day, and it was showing, I think it was Kato, where they produce little dioramas which you can kind of slot together. So you get a little diorama about this big with a piece of track on it and some scenics, and you could buy another module which bolts into it. Well, it doesn't bolt, it slots into it. So you can end up with as many of these modules as you want. So that got me thinking, and I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea if, again, this is about the communication between and the interactivity between, say, families within a town or a village, whereby you can make up a little module and you could clip it to another module which somebody else has made. So for instance, if you get I don't know, something like a foot long, 2 foot long, 3 foot long module, you could then clip that to your mate's module. Sorry, that's Ruby barking. She always loves doing this as I'm doing a video. You can bolt these modules together, so you could get a group of, say, 6 mates building a module each, and you could then clip these modules together, and with the aid of, say, the Hornby, what's it called, it's a 2000, 7000 range, whatever it is, it operates with Bluetooth. So every phone has a Bluetooth facility, and you can then operate a module or a series of modules using your Bluetooth phone. So you could get a group of, say, 6 kids with 6 modules all bolted together, and they could operate a loco or several locomotives on this stretch of modules using their phones. That's just one thought I've had as regards getting them interested using the things they are used to, like the phones. That's just a very, very quick example of how you could start introducing the younger youth, if you like, into model railways by using their favourite thing, mobile phones or tablets. So it doesn't take too much imagination to go, well, on from that we could do this. So you could get a couple of villages involved. So I could get, for instance, my village with half a dozen modules interacting with the next village up the road with another half a dozen modules, all working through parent association, and you could get a little community going, running a whole stretch of these modules. Can you remember James May doing this with, he set down a whole, I don't know how long it was huge, length of track, and he ran this train down this whole length of track, and it went on for ages, this piece of track. And that's the sort of thing I'm thinking of. So you could build these modules, and it would be quite quick because they're only small. It would teach them the basics of sitting X work, so you'd be laying down grass, a few trees, shrubs, and it would then bolt onto the next one, which would look probably quite different. But each one would be made individually by that particular family. So the father and the kids could get involved, and then one day, a predetermined day, they could all get together, bolt their modules together and run a train via their Bluetooth or Bluetooth feature on the HM7000 system. That's just one idea. Now there are probably many ideas that people could come up with, but that's just one I thought of, and I meant to suggest it in the first part of the video and I forgot. So there you go, there's an idea. It'd be interesting to see if anybody else could come up with some other ideas utilising their favourite weapon, if you like, which is the mobile phones. Okay, so I'll leave it for there, and because she's barking her head off. I'll leave it for there and let you digest that, and it'll be interesting to see what your comments are in the video. And remember, all what I've said in this video is my opinion. It's not factual. It's not saying I'm right, you're wrong. It's just my opinion. Okay? All right. You take care. Bye for now. Bye.